Okay, then it's still before 7, so we can move on to council presentations. Mr. Duffy.
Thank you, Madam Acting Mayor. The item that I wanted to bring up, I know that there have been a lot of citizen questions about the process for special election, since a vacancy will occur in January when Will is sworn in as mayor. So first of all, I thought it might be helpful if we could, on the record, ask our elections official to explain what the current ordinance is. And if I understand it correctly, the current ordinance was created in 2005, the last time that there was a council vacancy. And so I'd also like some history as to what the practice was before that ordinance was put on the books.
Thank you, Acting Mayor Juneman and council members. In 2005, October of 2005, the City Council approved an ordinance which basically states if there are more than 6 months from the vacancy to a regular special or a regular scheduled election, if there are more than, there will be a special election held. If there's less than 6 months, I said that backwards. If there's less than 6 months, a special election will be held. If there's more than, I said it backwards again. I'm going to read it. How about that? Okay, if the unexpired term is for a period of 6 months or less, the council shall appoint an eligible person to serve for the remainder of the unexpired term. In the event the unexpired term is greater than 6 months, the council shall hold a special election to fill the term, the unexpired term. That was passed in October of 2005. State statute gives a 2-year period of time. So you passed this, or the sitting council at that time passed this in October at the resignation of Monahan Junick when she left the council to take a job elsewhere and moved out of our city. So then at that time, council passed this ordinance, and so a special election was held to fill her seat. It takes about 90 days after a vacancy is declared, and the vacancy is not declared until the council member Rossbach is sworn in as mayor on January 4th. That will be the first Monday of 2010, and that will be at a special election. Then a vacancy is declared by resolution. Then at that time, the council will have to decide how you want to proceed in holding your special election. One of the things that we've looked at, and I've spoken with City Attorney Cantrud and also the city manager about, is our current ordinance states about the 6 months. It doesn't say that within 6 months, but it says 6 months. You need to decide about, that term if you have left. One of the things that the state legislature is looking at right now is moving the primary election of the state election, which would normally be held in September, up to August, which would mean that the state primary would be held in September. One of your options that you would have is instead of holding, pardon me? In August, yeah. Right. It'll be either in August or September, depending on what the legislature passes. So theoretically, you could hold your special election in conjunction with the state primary.
So is that something that's allowed under the current ordinance, or if we wanted to save the money and not have a separate special election and wanted to piggyback on the state primary, would we have to amend the ordinance in order to do that?
No, you would not. At first, that's what we thought. We looked at it. Actually, I was studying it this weekend, and I spoke with City Attorney Cantrud, because our current ordinance does not state you have to hold the election within 6 months, which is kind of a misnomer. It does not say that. It says if there's more or less 6 months, and that's where we kind of got confused on that 6 month
Yeah, it just has the
period.
language about being practicable or something like that.
Right.
Okay.
So, you could have your election in June, or you could have it in August or you could actually have it in March. We need 90 days from the time that you declare the vacancy and you want to hold a special election. But I'm just giving you the options there as well. And then with the resignation of Monahan Junick, she resigned in September, and we had the election at the end of February. And in the meantime, The council interviewed people that expressed interest. There was a period of time where people were submitted a resume, if you will, just expressing their desire to be interested in that interim position. So you have that option to appoint someone until the election is held, which is what it happened last time.
I have a couple follow-up questions, but I see that Will has his light on.
Mr. Rosbach?
My questions were just answered.
So the follow-up questions are, what is the cost of doing a special election by itself if we did one in April as early as possible?
Probably around $26,000.
And is that currently in the budget, or would that be something that we'd have to add on to the elections budget?
It's not in the budget.
Okay. So if we deferred that to August to be with the state primary, do we share? So currently on the state primary, we would be paying the entire cost of that anyway, right? Because it's, if I
That is
understand
correct.
correctly, there's no sharing with like a school district or anything like that. Okay. You know, I've read the ordinance over a couple of times, and I can see that interpretation. I'm a little concerned that it might be vague in the ordinance because it doesn't really, call anything out specifically, maybe. So I guess we'll rely on the advice of council if you think that allows for that possibility at the point when we get there. But mainly I wanted to put this on the agenda to ask of the sense of the council and of staff as to whether it would be something, if we wanted to get those cost savings, if we needed to amend the ordinance in any way to get that rolling.
Councilmember Nephew, what would happen as we were speaking today is that, your local ordinances can never be less strict than the state statutes, of course, but they can be more. And in our reviewing it today, you would be allowed, there's nothing that would prohibit you from having the election in conjunction with the state primary.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.